Gentlemen, New Art Kings, you're very welcome to the new episode of New Art Kings podcast. Um, this is the podcast where my whole intention, the intention of this movement is to start local, global, personal revolutions within 1 million+ men around the planet. Today, we are welcoming Kevin Donohoe here from America. Kevin is a fellow Irishman, and I've linked in with Kevin there in recent months and this year, and it's just I had such a rip-roaring, beautiful connection call first time that I just had planted the seed. It was like I had to have him on the podcast. And today I'm so grateful that Kevin has carved out the time to be here with us. Kevin has an extraordinary story of resilience, of determination, of having a vision in business, but both in business and in personal life, which spans from humble beginnings as a carpenter in Ireland in the Celtic Tiger boom years, then moving on to Dubai, major high-rise projects there, then transporting himself business interest to Canada with family as his family was expanding, and then finally to this point in his story, he's coming to Florida in the US. Maybe not. That's going to be the base long term. But why I've brought Kevin on today is just that is the essence of unstoppability. It's the essence of a mindset of expansion. The living embodiment of, if any of you have come across Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, just that level of high vibrational, high emotional positivity and appreciation of life. And that is, for me, why it was so important to get him on, because I believe in that way of being is the way of being of, leading your revolution, your personal revolution, your business revolution, etc. So, Kevin Donohoe, you're very, very welcome, sir.
Hey, Mark. Thanks for having me on.
No problem at all. And Kevin, I just want to say thank you very much. Like, Kevin, just for a little bit of background to the guys, as part of just being expansive, and I wanted to start like this, Kevin, because, you're on day one, I believe, on a project, and there was this thing you messaged me early on this morning, very, very early on for you, which was effectively your project, the office container hadn't come in. You're doing this from the Jeep or from your truck. So what I really loved and why I wanted to just put the spotlight on this is when you live an expansive life like you do, stuff comes up. You're not in a comfort zone. So just thanks for making those efforts for us, sir.
I really appreciate you letting me do it from the truck. Normally I would be in an office or a trailer or something like that. But as you say, this morning, the trailer was due yesterday. It didn't turn up. It was due again this morning. Didn't turn up. So yeah, it was 5:30 this morning. I'm sending you a message. Hey man, I ain't got a trailer. Is it okay if I do it from my truck? So I appreciate you accommodating me.
No, it's brilliant. Good to have you on, brother. Kevin, of course, if we just jump back maybe a couple of years to those Celtic Tiger boom times, I know definitely living on the Irish scene myself, the amount of startups, the amount of friends from secondary school, I mean, it was pretty much everybody and anybody was jumping, sticking a label on the side of a van, like a builder, an electrician, plumber, whatever it was, plaster. Like, I mean, if you had any sort of skills, you could make a good buck. Can you bring us back there? What was it that sort of sparked that bit of life, that idea into you, and got you in those starting days to get that van and get out on the road?
I always had it. My dad was an incredibly hard worker, and I remember way back, as far as I can remember, Saturday morning, Sunday morning, he'd bring us into work with him. Like he worked every single day. Like there was 7 days a week. Sunday might just be the morning, but we'd go with him. And I just, from a very young age, I loved building. I loved construction. I just loved being there. And around 15, way back when, like in Ireland, it was a badge of honor to be a builder. Like I live in America now, and everybody has to have a degree and this and the other. And I had to go back and get my degree because outside of Ireland, you needed that piece of paper. But I remember, like, the people that I hung up with, the people that I grew up with, like being a builder was a badge of honor. It was something that we strived to do. So I served my time as a carpenter. I did a couple of years with a guy that my dad worked with for like 26 years. And then I went working for my uncle Paul for 2 years. And I learned two sides of it. I learned the second fixing of it, and then I went into the timber frame aspect of it. And as soon as I was old enough, as soon as I think, I don't even think I was ready when I did it, to be honest with you. I was like, no, I'm going for it. It was in the middle of the Celtic Tiger. The world was busy, and I just, let's do it. Let's jump in with 2 feet. So that's what we did. I bought a van. I stuck my name on the side of it, and I hired a few guys, and I basically took a contract off a couple of guys I knew from Kildare Town, who I only been working with for a couple of months, and that's what started it off.
Wonderful. And Kevin, did you always have this sort of an entrepreneurial urge in you from a young age, or when did you discover that you just wanted to jump in?
I always did. I did. So like we grew up, humble beginnings. My mom and dad incredibly hard workers, and but I remember it wasn't it wasn't the easiest. It was the 80s, 90s Ireland and whatnot. I just remember from a super young age, like I wanted I just wanted to work for myself. I wanted to be a businessman. I looked up to the local builders, that type of thing. And so as far back as I can remember, I wanted to work for myself. I wanted to own a company. I wanted to build something. So I don't have a memory where I saw myself working for somebody for the rest of my life.
Mm. And what was it like? What was it that didn't have you ever seeing this vision of working for somebody else? What was the characteristic or the burning fire within you that just made you sort of say, I want to be my own man, my own island, and being the creator of my own destiny? What was going on there within you?
I just admired the guys that were doing it. I seen the people that were around us, and they started from the same beginnings that we had. Just a carpenter or a fitter, and these are people that I have in my head that I know from my history, like that started out with a 4-year apprenticeship and they went on to build their own businesses. And I admire them. I like that, and obviously don't get me wrong, when you're younger, you see the shiny things, you learn very, very quickly that it's not about the new Jeep, it's not about the big house. Like, if you're not happy in the small house, you're going to bring them feelings, which is the big house. So it's that simple, and it's very hard to explain that to people that don't live and breathe, what we do. When you want to work for yourself, when you want to build a business, it's all about investing in the company. It's all about finding the right staff, but from way back when, from looking from the outside in, I have to say it was probably the shiny object that they had that might give you that little push. Okay, well, if they can do it, I can do it, kind of thing.
Yeah, lovely. And for anybody, of course, within the Irish context, anybody in Ireland, we sort of know what the Celtic Tiger was all about and that. But like, it sort of came with quite the crash in what was it, 2008, I believe, in and around. At what point?
07, yeah.
And at what point was your fledgling company? Was it a fledgling company? How many years of momentum had you built up at that point when the crash just came? And
you know what? I didn't find the right mentors. I didn't find. I never got the memento that I wish I could have got when I was younger. We had, at the peak of it, I probably had 12 or 13 guys working for me. We were happy enough. We were doing a couple of houses in Dublin. We did a lot of work up around Dublin. We did a bunch of private houses around Kildare and stuff like that. When I look back now and I realize what we could have done versus what we actually did do, it was super, super small. It was enough to say we were working for ourselves. Our name was on the side of the van, but we were never a super sophisticated operation. And the thing about the Celtic, I never saw myself leaving Ireland. I loved Ireland. Like that was I never in a million years would have saw myself emigrate. And had the Celtic Tiger not happened, it would, like, we never would have left. I've heard it off multiple people throughout the world. If you found a genie in the bottle, what would your wish be? Bring back the Celtic Tiger, I'll do the rest. It was like everybody was invincible. There wasn't a person in Ireland. It was just we had this just steely determination, and nobody was going to be able to break us. And like out of my class, I can think off the top of my head, we had 30 guys in the class, and of the 30 guys, there was 10 of them working for themselves. Be it plaster, carpenter, electrician, and it was just we were super, super busy. It was just, the Celtic Tiger was a fun time. And then when the bubble burst, we didn't know what to do, right? But we did what generations of Irish people did before us. Most of us jumped on a plane and went to where the work was. We're not really a people to lie down and take it. So yeah, I got an opportunity in Dubai, and I took it. Turned into nearly 5 years in Dubai.
Talk to us a little bit about the culture shock, if there was a culture shock. I'm assuming it's just coming from Ireland to Dubai. How was that transition for yourself, but also for yourself and family at that point? Like, or where was your family at that point?
So we just got married. Myself and Diana had been together for about 6 years, and we had bought a house in Ireland that we were doing up, and we never got it finished. And the crash came, and we decided to move to Dubai. We'd been in Dubai twice before that on vacation. My brother-in-law lived in Dubai, and we said, you know what? Like, there's no work here. Where are we going to go? At the time, we wanted to live in America. Diana had always wanted to live in America. I had wanted to live in America. I spent 3 months in San Francisco back in 2002. And but America, super hard to get visas. How are you going to do that? So Dubai just seemed like a good opportunity at the time. And as for culture shock, wow, like night and day. I hadn't expected. Like it was like, honestly, for me it was like living on the moon. Like we were mixing with completely different cultures. We experienced racism firsthand. I wrong color, spoke the wrong language, prayed to the wrong god. When I walked into a room, people didn't like me, so I learned very, very quickly how to get people to turn around and start to like me. So it's, like I call that my college education. It was, we had tough times in Dubai, but we had fantastic times in Dubai. When we decided to leave Ireland, we decided in November 2007 that we were probably going to leave. We got married in 2008, January 2008. We went to Mauritius to get married. And we headed away on a 4-week honeymoon, and we came back and we packed everything up. And by April, we had moved to Dubai.
It sounds so simple, just rolled off the tongue like just in sentence. Hindsight has a great way of simplifying things, but
that's for sure. Yeah. Well, like so when we were going, the day before we left Ireland, we found out that Diana was pregnant with our first child. So we were leaving the country. We were moving house to a completely different country. We had just got married, and we were pregnant with our first baby. Like, four are probably the biggest stressors in the world. We did them all at the same time.
Yeah, I can feel my hand coming up here. Like myself and Matilda, like when it wasn't maybe such a culture shock, but like Matilda coming from Italy, I still remember, Matilda pregnant, us packing the van, absolutely jam packed. Fucking like three dogs, 4 cats, everything we owned up to that point that we couldn't sell off at Clara Market down in Offaly, and off we went. And like, I mean, you make shit happen, but like, it's what I find, and like I know, like one of your central things that you say, and like just a little bit of background to guys listening in, I've connected in with you is on an online group, Dean Graziosi's Underground Millionaires Mindset group. But like one of the key things that you would say, it's not meant to be easy, but it is meant to be fun. I think like you even sort of have this, that you're going to write a book someday from that, but it's sort of, that's the essence of it. It's not meant to be easy, but like you can have a lot of fun in the challenge and the journey of it. And like, I think that was one thing with you, and it is now, is like, it's like you come alive when you're talking about these challenges. Like you've learned to have so much fun in the face of adversity.
Yeah, and we have had a bunch of tough times, same as everybody has had a bunch of tough times. It's how you react to them, And don't get me wrong, I didn't come out smiling from a lot of them. Like, the last one there a couple of years ago, that one took it on me, and it took me 6 months to kind of get my head around it. And like, if it wasn't for my wife, if it wasn't for a couple of very close friends, you learn who your friends are when you're down. Believe me, people that I would have walked through flames for weren't there for it. Like, I would never have guessed it. I would have bet our entire fortune that these people would have been there for us, and they weren't. They just, like, they disappeared. And you learn very, very close, when you're on the down, who your close friends are, and we learned that, But I thankfully I got through it. We came out the other side of it, and through reading Think and Grow Rich and all those types of books, Dean Graziosi, Tony Robbins, Robert Kiyosaki, like there's even new guys coming on the scene now at the moment. One guy I'm listening to at the moment, he's the star of Flip or Flop. I'm sure you've heard of it on HGTV. Tariq El Moussa had cancer a couple of times, broke up with his wife. But all the guys that he's interviewing in his podcast right now, it's not meant to be easy. Like, anybody who has succeeded, you can appreciate people that have succeeded, because 95% of the people that have succeeded didn't succeed first time. They've taken the knock. And, Patrick Bet-David, I really like Patrick Bet-David. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him. Yeah. Like he's got a 90-second video out there about being an entrepreneur, and it's like what people don't see. They don't see the empty bank account. They don't see the 18, 20-hour days. They don't see you knocking on the door. They don't see the rejection, and it's like, I know a lot of people that would be, they snigger or they giggle, and it's like, who do you think you are? Get back in your box. You're Kevin Donohoe from Kildare Town, and that's it. But none of that phases me anymore. Before it did. It took me a long time to get over that. Like, I used to have this little chip on my shoulder, like I had to prove myself to somebody, and there is nobody out there to prove yourself. Once my wife is happy, once my children are happy, and we have our close friends and we have our family, that's as far as I'm concerned, everything else we can fix now, and the last knock really taught me a lot of that. If you don't enjoy what you're doing, figure out how to change it, because you have to enjoy what you're doing. You want to be able to jump out of bed. That's like, part of the book, Dean Graziosi, he tells you, how to have your morning routine. Are you familiar with the Miracle Morning?
I know you've mentioned it to me, but yes.
So Hal Elrod, great book. You know, he a guy, car accident. You know, told he probably wouldn't walk again. Short-term memory loss. Like just an incredible book. You know, and he made up this miracle morning. It's like you take an hour in the morning and before 8 o'clock, and you do all these proven methods that people have been doing for years. Only do them all at the same time. You know, you do your visualization, you do your affirmations. So I've been doing affirmations since before I even knew there were affirmations. Like you have this vision in your head and you repeat it to yourself. And I truly believe, like, if I was to explain the secret to people, the secret is, you know, unwavering self-belief. You know, like Conor McGregor, you know, he's splitting the void right now, but he had an incredible amount of fans. But if you listen to the interview where he's talking about the secret, like, he read the book when he was 15, and it's this unwavering self-belief in you that if you truly believe you can do it and you take action and you go to do it, there's no reason you can't do it. And I firmly believe that. And I tell my kids that every day.
Kevin, I'm fascinated just at what point in your life, maybe literally reading The Secret, but at what point did you realize that? Did that come upon you, and did you just put that front and center of your existence of, yeah, if I actually, you know, set the habits of the mind, set the habits in my life, I can literally achieve whatever? When did you cross that bridge?
In the last 6 months. That's the God's honest truth. I was doing all those practices before when and I didn't realize like how effective they were being. And as I explained to you, we had a business. I bought a company. I transferred with a Canadian company down to Orlando, and I got the opportunity to buy into a company. And at the time, the company had $15 million worth of work, which is a big company. You know, like we were happy with that. But we grew that company to where we were doing $100 million worth of work. We had 3 projects. We were building over 1,000 apartments. You know, it was just it was great. And I that's it. I've arrived. I'm here. You know, and through outside influences that had nothing to do with us, but the company that we had purchased was caught up in litigation with another contractor, and we ended up being collateral damage. You know, and so we're still fighting that case at the moment. But when all the negative thoughts came inside my head, everything I was thinking came true. What if I can't pay my staff? What if I have to lay them off? You know, and it's like we stopped getting paid in April. Should have done what any good contractor would have done. And I believe now I wasn't a good enough businessman. I believe that lesson was there for me to prepare me for the next few steps. You know, and it was all the negative thoughts that I was thinking. I couldn't see a foot in front of me. I was just surrounded by negativity. And all those negative thoughts, they came true. And the absolute worst that I believed in my head that I could have envisioned happened. And I'm still alive. And that's the way I looked at it. And once the smoke cleared, and you know, and it cleared because Diana helped it clear. I have to be like, she was incredible. But once the smoke cleared and I come out the other side and I started thinking positive again. Now you gotta, like, we went from making good money, right? Very happy, house, pool, kids going to private school. You know, we were very comfortable. And then we're staring right in the face. We're about to lose all this. Like, you know, what could happen here? You know, and it was a very, very tough time. The day I decided to go back doing my miracle mornings and thinking positive, and this is probably, it's a little bit more than 6 months. It was probably October of last year. So we're almost a year into it now. And it's like within 30 days, I could see differences. I could see opportunities again. I could see who I was going to call. And honestly, like throughout like the last year, where I was a year ago versus where I am now, night and day difference. Like we went from $100 million to zero. We're probably going to finish with about, I don't know, $15 million worth of projects this year, you know, and we've got multiple opportunities for next year, you know. So I truly believe that if you have a negative mentality, you won't see the opportunities. If you have a positive mentality, you're going to see the 10 other opportunities, and you're going to be able to decide which ones are going to benefit you the most. So.
Yeah. And like it goes back to Napoleon Hill, and like I know teachings of Abraham. I've linked in with those, just the law of attraction core teachings. I mean, it's just that vibrational level. Call it emotional, vibrational, interchangeable for anybody that might be new to those terms.
Bob Proctor teaches that.
Exactly. You know, and it's you know, once you get to that higher, the higher vibrational level that you get to, which is like just the greater on like a physical level, I suppose, you're just this incredible sense of joy, of bliss, of just exhilaration within the body in that moment, that you perceive doors that are opening in front of you that just weren't opening before. And that's what you're saying. What I'd love to just like to ground in on is your version of the miracle morning. Like what's
Yep.
your version? What are the habits that Kevin Donohoe does on a daily basis that actually sets that vibration, sets that, that mindset, that heart set where you're just
Yep.
fucking unstoppable for the day?
So I slipped a little bit on my exercises lately. I was in a car accident a couple of months ago, and my shoulder has been in bits. I'm actually getting surgery on it in 3 weeks. So, but my miracle morning consists of, he calls it the saver, the lifesaver. So it's silence, exercise, visualization, affirmation, stuff like that. Scribing is a big one. Like I don't go anywhere without my journal. I write down everything. I've got notes in front of me here now. It's like if I write it down, it sticks in my head, and that's so I spend a lot of time scribbling down what I do, and it doesn't have to be organized. It doesn't have to be dated. All the guys that I read over the years, Richard Branson, Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi, Robert Kiyosaki, they all had a notebook. They all had these pads. So my favorite is definitely the writing, the scribbling. In the mornings when I get up, I do my affirmations, I do the writing. If I can do the exercise, I do the exercise. I was big into cycling. I love the cycling. I'm looking forward to getting back to it now as soon as I get the operation out of the way. But it's 1 hour in the morning, and I set my alarm clock for 5 o'clock. I get up. I follow everything that was in the book. I don't want to give the book away because I think people should read it. It's a fantastic read, But follow those steps in the morning. You wake up, jump out of bed, brush your teeth, drink a glass of water, go out and have that hour before you wake the kids up. Like when I was doing it every single morning before the accident, I get a half an hour after I'm finished my miracle morning. I'm wide awake. Everybody's still in bed, and then I'm able to wake my kids up. My daughter loves omelets. You have that extra half an hour in the morning before she goes to school, and she goes into school with a positive attitude then straight away. Like they wake up happy, and it's the little things that I do that prepare me that help the people that are around. I believe positive energy spreads. It helped me that hour in the morning. Whatever you do, whether it's affirmation, visualization, exercise, I recommend you do them all. But get up early in the morning. That's the key to it is getting up early in the morning. As I'm talking to you right now, I realize the key to it is get up early in the morning. No matter what you do with that time in the morning, getting up early in the morning gives you a better start than everybody else.
Yeah, the getting up in the morning, and it just brings it back to me. I was in mindset classes, and this idea of getting up in the morning, just getting your momentum going in the morning. I always remember back when I was going to school, primary school, secondary school, and it's like those cold, dark, damp Irish mornings, when the last bloody thing you want to do is put your toe out of the bed. But I always remember, even now, just like a smile comes to my face, a warm, fuzzy feeling comes when like my mom or my dad, I think predominantly my mother, I have to give her the pat in the back for getting up, but it was like the good old fashioned solid fuel cooker. And like it just had the embers of the night before, but like it just was like the first thing in the day was just stoke up the flames. Just stoke up the flames. And once those flames got going and a bit of people get the turf, like just that warmth, that energy just circulated around the house, and then the whole house slowly but surely just came alive. But it's a bit like I draw that comparison for me because it's the same thing. Like we might have central heating now, but it's the same thing. It's that inner heating system, the energetic system. Just have those rituals, stoke those flames. Don't fucking arrive into the matrix, into the mayhem, and you're cold because you just be swallowed up.
Exactly. And when we were younger, Mom and Dad were always early risers, but again, you hear these noises in the morning that bring happy memories. Your mom getting up, going downstairs, sticking on the kettle, you can hear the button. As you say, from the night before, we had the range in the kitchen, you know what I mean? So Mom would clean the range and the ashes would fall into the bottom of it. You hear the ashes going out the back door, and then you'd hear the turf being dropped in. And you knew, that's as kids, that you're probably an hour away from getting up, but that, Mom was always happy when you get up in the morning, and that's what it is. I believe getting up early in the morning, it sets the day apart. If you crawl out of bed and you're 10 minutes from throwing on your clothes and jumping in the car and going to work, you're going to be in there groggy. You're not going to have that little bit of energy. And a lot of people say, I'm not a morning person, not a morning person. I don't believe that anymore. You're not a morning person because you're telling yourself you're not a morning person. Start telling yourself you're a morning person, you become a morning person. And a lot of people don't believe that, but I believe it because I've seen it happen. When you convince yourself, you delete that limiting belief, then all of a sudden, hang on a second, I am a morning person. I like getting up early, and it just, like as I say, some people don't believe it, but it works for me. It works for a lot of people I know. I really enjoy having these conversations with yourself, Mark, other people that have similar beliefs because they've done it. They believe it. When you talk to people that have never done that, that don't believe in it, it's just like, okay, you don't have to believe it. I'm not trying to convince you. I'm telling you it's working for me. You don't want to be a morning person, don't be a morning person.
Yeah, well, that's the whole entire point and purpose, like just having these very natural conversations, because it's like there's a before and after, if you want to say, for Kevin Donohoe, like before, after. Mark Usher, the exact same, and like it's just welcoming guys in to listen, that there's a before and after, like the whole hero's journey. There's the before, there's the after. In every single great story, there's the before, and the before is fucking challenging. Like the before is like, it's your life, it's your comfortable zone where you knew what your beliefs were, the what they call it, the morning of your life. But then when you get into the afternoon of your life, there's a shift of meaning. It's like the rule set that you could depend on when you were growing up, of what your dad taught you, what your mom taught you, what society taught you. That was okay. And that's I suppose essential to have that bubble, that you can go through the chaos of your younger life developing as a man. Like otherwise we'd be fucking dropping like flies. That's good, that's fine. But that there is another story, and that there's a greater story. And like New Earth Kings is about tempting guys in, and not tempting, but it's like just tempting, like in the presence, in that energetic presence of the likes of yourself, that to just see what is possible. One thing that jumps out for me, Kevin, every single time I get to talk with you, or like we message online, and I see your videos, you're quite proficient at putting up lovely videos on Facebook and private groups and your own personal page, is that essence of family as a core value as a man. And this, for me, part of New Earth Kings is so important, that the family essence is there. And it's not that, like, okay, there can be some single guys, maybe the family, tradition family mightn't be a part of it, but what I really want, and like you're such a sacred example of this, is that you can have it all. You can have this incredible outward mission where you actually go, you create epic shit in the world, your business, your movement, whatever that is, but that there's the core base and foundation of your family. And like so much of your story just is resounding, like, when you speak about Diana, she wanted to live in America, but like, it's like you went from, I know you explained before, went from Ireland to Dubai, from plus 40, 45 degrees to minus, I don't know, probably the opposite, to Canada in the deep winter. But
minus 50.
Minus 50. And like, you're just, Diana's vision of living in America, like you always held that. It was like family at the core. And like there, as you talk about those memories of home, like I was talking about the waking up and like those sounds of the kettle and that, you seem to have this finely attuned depth of appreciation to like the mundane, missable moments, potentially missable moments, but you just seem to have this attunement that they're the miracle moments. They're the moments that actually are of greatest importance to man. Would you mind just speaking a little bit about that? Because I believe it's of such importance to guys in family and relationship to know the secrets of this.
I really appreciate the way you boxed that up there now, but the truth is, it's only in the last couple of years, and I've slipped as well. The reason that my family is what it is, and it's Diana. My head defaults to business every time. It always had, and because she puts up with the way my head thinks, like we've been able to keep that family unit together. And I don't want to say I've tried harder. I've been more conscious of the fact that instead of picking up the phone and looking at the phone, look at what Grace is doing, look at what JR is doing, look at what Max is doing, look at what Tara is doing, and because Diana deserves that as well, and Dean Graziosi asked you, 7 levels deep, why, and I would always went 1 or 2, why do you do it? Well, I do it for my kids. Why do you do it for your kids? I want my kids to have a better life. But you got to go deeper into that. I want my family, God forbid no harm something happened to me. I want Diana to have the happy memories of when we were together. You know what I mean? That she knows that if we come up with a dream together, that we will work together to achieve that goal. And by doing that, I don't care what anyone says. Nobody can break you. If you and your wife or your partner are solid and you guys have the same goal, the same ambitions, you're going to have 2 different roles. You're going to have two different jobs to do. But as long as you're going in the same direction, doesn't matter how slow you're going, you're going to be happy together. And I believe, like, the key for me now is to be happy. When things went bad and I saw this fog, and I was so worried about, my biggest fear was letting my family down. That was my biggest fear. I was like how do I you know, what's my wife going to think? I know now that she wouldn't care. Like if we moved into a caravan, she'd be with me, you know. but in my head at the time, I'm like, I couldn't have that conversation. I was embarrassed. I felt shame. Who's going to be laughing at me? The truth is, most people don't care. You know what I mean? Your life is your life, and it's like, and you build up this big story in your head, and it's not there, you know. And the people that are laughing at you, I feel sorry for them. You know what I mean? Go off and get your own life. This is what it is. Like you're always going to have doubters. You're always going to have haters. You're always going to be the villain in someone's story. So let that be their story. You know, I believe that we all have our own karma, and if I live my life, you know, and don't deliberately go out and try to hurt people, and I look after my children, I give them the best start. In 30 years' time, when they have their own families, they're going to want to come back, and they're going to want to bring their kids with them to see granddad, and you know, so that's like, if you, what's the point of it? I know so many people, guys that I looked up to, people that when I was younger, like would have been, and they have nothing, you know, families broken up, they don't talk to their wives, don't talk to their children. What's the point of it? If you can't share it with someone, like, I don't want to end up old and lonely, you know, with a bag full of cash in the back of the car. You can't spend it on yourself. You don't want to spend it on yourself. Most people that do it want to enjoy it with their family. So it's like I say, I truly believe it's not about the money. It's about facilitating a good life, financial freedom for your children, for your wife, so that in the later years we can go and enjoy it, you know, and create something that can, if they want to be part of it, fantastic, and if they don't, you know, have the ability to give them the start that they want to do. I've got a 10-year-old that wants to be a lawyer. Where do you want to go to school? I want to go to Harvard. Okay, at least you give me 10 years notice. You know? So, we tell her every day, you want to go to Harvard? You go to Harvard. Yeah. It's just that I feel happy when my family is happy. You know, like it's silly if I'm fighting with my wife, I can't focus and work. Like it's just so it's you know, happy wife, happy life. It really works.
No, and it's music to my ears, and this is why, like, I love just bringing this thread of the conversation, because I think it's men, like, I mean, you map it out perfectly, you know, like naturally by evolution, by development, by whatever, by roles imposed on the society, whatever. There's lots of different ideas as to why it might be like that, but we're rational mind predominant. You know, like we like fires to put out. We like projects. We like, it gives us focus. We have that sort of linear mind thinking where we just fucking come into the zone, hunter gatherer, get me that woolly mammoth, and I'll just set upon my mind and unleash how to get that project done. That's when we get in the zone. And yet it's so important to, you know, just slow down and actually introduce guys to a new conversation where, you know, actually, you know, you might get swept away with that tsunami, and like many guys do, but the far side of that, that's a rough shitty spot to be.
I don't have time. Why don't you have time? Well, I didn't get up at 9 o'clock this morning. Why didn't you get up at 6 o'clock? You know, and why didn't you do the stuff that you do between 6 and 12? You know, and one of the big ones, and I had to learn this as well. I wasn't great at it. Like, you know, I was focused on work and making sure the job was going on, but like, you know, our kids in the school that they're in, you know, we can go in and their mom can go in and do centers, and like, you know, we call them the bigs and the littles, you know. So we have a 10 and a 9-year-old, and then we have a 3 and a 7-month-old. So there's that age gap, you know. And sometimes I need to be at home to look after the smaller ones. Now I can still work; they're parting around. It is what it is. And then Diana can go in and spend time with the older ones. 5 years ago, if somebody had said that to me, I'd be like, well, I don't have time to be at home. Well, why don't I have time? And when you try to explain to someone that works from 8 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock at night, or 5 o'clock in the evening, or whatever it is, and they have to be in an office and all that, there's opportunities out there. And if you go look for the opportunities, they're going to present themselves. And like, we're living proof of that, you know. If you, I'm not saying you're going to find it today, tomorrow, the next day, 3 months from now, but if you look for it, you can create that life. And I believe you can create that life for yourself, like where you can be where you need to be. You can create your financial freedom. You can create the scenario where I can look after my kids and Diana can go and be with the older ones. You know, it's just, again, it's back down to limiting beliefs. Can you do it? If you think you can do it, you can. You know, as Henry Ford said, if you think you can, or you think you can't, you're right.
Yeah, so, you're right both times. Kevin, what's emerging for me, and it's just that you mentioned it earlier on in the conversation, but I'm passionately curious to know more. You mentioned that when you went to Dubai, I want to sort of tap into that experience, but also so much more of what you have learned since then, since then, about power of influence. You mentioned
Yeah,
particularly that cultural, shock between Ireland and Dubai. You went in like you experienced sort of a racist attitudes towards you
yeah,
firsthand, that you were the black sheep going in, but that the core nugget of meaning that you took out from that situation was you actually learned how to connect, how to get people to like you, and I think the word that comes for me is influence. It's like
yeah.
gaining people's trust and influence. What are the main things of importance that you have learned through such tough, challenging experiences as a man, that are the core of your capacity to influence? And by influence, sometimes people give it a shitty stick. There's positive influence, there's negative influence.
Of course it is.
You're coming from a
Yeah.
positive influence. You're getting, win-win situations for people, that there's going to be expansion for all included, that it's all, like, everybody's going to come out the far side of an experience with you in a high vibrational state. What words of wisdom, what insights have you learned along the way?
I used to be, I wouldn't say I was very confident. Confidence is not the right word, but I used to project this confidence. So you go into the room and, you talk to everybody, and I used to have a tactic, and I still get flagged over this to this day. I would talk really, really fast, and they wouldn't understand what I said. But there was too many people in the room, so they didn't want to look stupid, so they wouldn't ask the question. So we could walk out. So I was able to bluff my way through it by talking real fast. I learned very quickly, while we were in Dubai, that, it's not always the guy that's talking that is able to be the influencer. So not most people want to tell their story. So let them tell their story. And every now and again, you're going to get the opportunity. And when you leave, the guy, 9 times out of 10, the guy that says the least is the guy that's going to be remembered, and it's worked for me. Like, I go into meetings now, and you sit down and you listen to what they want, and they're tired of the old framers, and they're looking for this new opportunity. So when we went to Dubai first, I was a carpenter. Remember that, right? A carpenter in Dubai probably comes from, Karachi, somewhere like that. You know what I mean? Nepal, one. So and these guys are getting like $600-700, dollars a month, and I'm over there. So a white guy from Ireland, and to learn how to become a project manager. So you're over there, you're selling yourself after coming as a tradie to sell yourself as a project manager. I did it because I had my own business. I was able to change the terminology. Didn't tell a single lie. Told the truth. These are projects that I worked on. These are people that worked underneath me. It was just different terminology. So for the first 3 or 4 months, you learn that in different parts of the world, in different cultures, it's how you tell the story. You know what I mean? So and the thing about Ireland is, we roll our eyes at people telling stories because they use different lingo to what we're used to. But when you learn to tell a story in a language that other people understand, they're more receptive to you. And that worked for me. And as I say, like, I'd walk into a room, wrong colors, spoke to the wrong God, wrong language. People didn't like you. And I knew going in, meeting new people over there, that I was most likely going to have to convince them that I'm not a bad guy. You're going to have to work with me. Typically, people like me. And I'm not saying be a pushover, but don't go in there. Don't be an asshole. Nobody likes an asshole. So if you go in there, listen to people, try and understand what they want. That's to me, that's how you become an influencer. If you understand what people want, you listen to them, you learn what they want, and then figure out how to give it to them. It's no point listening to what they want and not figuring out. Like, that's the hard part. That's the difference between succeeding and not succeeding. How do you get what they want? Like, I provide lumber and labor to people in the Southeast United States. Most of the general contractors are doing, $30+ million jobs, right? I was a general contractor, so I understand what the general contractor is looking for. The contract that I currently have now with a company up north, they hired me because I wasn't a salesman, right? Everybody is a salesman. I believe that. Everybody has to be a salesman. You're selling something, right? So that's a prerequisite for anything you do in life. So the guys that I'm working with now, they gave me the contract based on the fact that I knew what general contractors were looking for. So now I'm able to sit on the other side of the table and understand what they're looking for. They don't paperwork. That's a big one. As a general contractor, you need to make sure your insurances are in order. So if we facilitate the labor, which is lower end labor, a lot of them are not educated, really good people, they just don't understand that little piece. So if we're able to fill that gap and give them a service where they don't have to worry about it, their job is going to get built, their paperwork is going to get done, their insurances are going to get checked off, everybody is covered, then they're happy and they want to work with us again. You know, and a lot of the framers that we competed against here didn't understand that. And now it's like a lot of the clients we have, we're going into them, and that became part of our, I don't want to call it sales pitch, it's an explanation. It's like, you know, we're able to take that headache off your table, and instead of you doing 6 jobs a year, you're able to do 7, because we're such a huge part of your schedule, and you don't have to worry about it anymore. You can move on and do another job. One of our clients at the moment has taken an extra job because we're going to go in and take that headache away from them. So it's, to be an influencer, you need to understand what people want, and then figure out how to give it.
It's funny, just part of a deep submergence I'm going through in my own personal life is the ancient Chinese art of Wu Wei. Wu Wei is effortless action. And like what to talk about, it's just like flowing. It's like, you know, if you think of Bruce Lee spoke about, you know, be like water. It's effortless. It just molds to the situation. But as you're speaking, it's like you're speaking from there. And like Wu Wei, what they would say is like ancient Chinese philosophers and politicians using that Wu Wei wisdom. Just the visual has gone there for a moment, Kevin.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. What they would say is you developed, it's actually quite funny if you think of The Simpsons, but you developed dough, where dough was like, might be called sort of charisma, but it's a deep level of trust within you. And it's coming from that effortless action. Like what you're saying, you're not the one that's coming in all guns blazing. You're actually the one that just comes in. It's what you're emanating behind in the silence. The silence behind your words, even too, that rises up that power of influence, which is sort of quite contrary to, and I suppose that's where the negative connotation comes in with sales. Sales is not bad. It's just when it's pushed into your face from the efforted action, it never feels right.
But if you ask people, do they like salespeople? 9 times out of 10 are going to say, no. Like if you go into a shop and somebody comes over, can I help you? Oh, no, I'm fine. I'm just having a look, you know? It's like people don't want to feel like they're forced. We're providing a service that people need. And as long as they understand that you're going to give them the service that they need, the job is going to get done. And like they want to work, they want to work with people that are going to help them, you know? And see, a lot of salespeople sell and that's it, they're done. I'm lucky. I'm in an industry where we sell a service and then we're able to help maintain it right through the end. I'm not necessarily the project manager or the superintendent on site or whatever it may be, but I'm involved the whole way through the end of it because I don't believe in one and done. One and done is no good. It's 10 times harder to sell a first job than it is to sell a second job. If you sell your first job, do a good job on it, the second job sells itself, you know? So that's what I believe.
Yeah, and it is so important. I love what your message when you say, you know, sales is actually part of life. We're all salespeople because we are, you know, like if I think of Newark Kings, like the essence of this, the whole mission, the aim is to kickstart 1 million plus revolutions within guys around the world. You know, a revolution, a personal revolution, like it doesn't have to be a revolution in fucking Che Guevara, Mahatma Gandhi, albeit there will be those guys that will take on the 1 million, 10 million plus, whatever. But like, if it's local, personal, global, it doesn't matter. But like, to create any change in your life, you've got to be able to sell an idea. Because like we go back to family. I know I put my hand up like with the likes of Matilda. I can sort of have this super cool rocket of desire going off. I'm going to fucking do this movement, podcast, etc., etc. I've got to sell that to my wife first. If I can't sell it to my wife, if I can't sell it to my family, I'm not going to be able to sell it to like one guy beyond that. And it's the same with yourself. So it is so important to actually get comfortable with just, I've got to be able to sort of ground myself and sell my idea. And that's good. That's fine. As long as I believe, am I crystallizing what you're saying? Is it fair enough to say that's fine? That's always going to be in alignment, Kevin. So long as you know you're being of service. That seems to be your message. If you're confident and grounded that you're properly coming from a place of service for these guys, that you do have a solution to their issues, their lives are going to be better. Their business, their everyday runnings of their life is going to be better because of the idea, the product that you're putting on the table. That's high aligned.
But all these successful people in the world can't be wrong. You know, like if one person calls you an asshole, you might not be an asshole. If 50 people call you an asshole, you're an asshole. It's time to look in the mirror. You know, if 100 people are telling you that if you provide a service to somebody, some sort of benefit, like, Dean Graziosi, Grant Cardone, Tony Robbins. If you figure out how to help 1 million people, you make $1 million. It's that simple, and the industry that we're in, most of the people that I deal with are employees, right? They're project managers, they're senior project managers, project directors, whatever it is. They're going to a company, they have a job to do, and they're probably dealing with 15 or 16 different subcontractors, and I'm one of those subcontractors. And if I'm the guy that gives them the least amount of headache, hands down, every time they're going to want to call Kevin Donohoe. That's simple. It literally is that simple. It's like, well, if I hire this guy, I know I'm not going to get anything. You're going to get your day-to-day stuff. Okay, a lorry was a little bit late. Sorry, we're going to make it up on the back end and stuff like that. But overall, as a rule, from the start of the schedule to the end of the schedule, if we deliver the product that they were going to deliver, the quality is right, their schedule doesn't slip, you don't go back looking for a bunch of extra money, and they think, you know what, this guy's honest, he does a good job, I'm not going to have to worry about him, I have 15 other people I have to worry about here. You're going to continue to get, and that's me. I'm a builder. I bring everything back to being a builder. I'm an aspiring developer. We're in the early stages of it now. I always wanted to be a developer, but I'm lucky. I love being a builder. I've always loved being a builder. So it is what it is. Like I'm sure there's thousands of people out there that are going to listen to this podcast. I love what you're doing with New Earth Kings. And I truly believe that you're going to reach that 1 million guys. I said it to you the very first day I met you. Guys out there are looking for inspiration. They're looking for the Mark Ushers of the world to go and reach out to them and say, listen, you can do this, and here's why you can do this, because of Colin Curley or whoever else you're going to interview on this, and they're going to watch that and they're going to realize, you know what, if these guys can do it, I can do it. And that's you introducing them to the people that have had the same background as them, and they've tried to better themselves. The big one is embarrassment. People need to get over being embarrassed. You're going to get laughed at, you're going to get sneered at, you're going to get sniggered at. That's just a part of life. But that's going to happen whether you have a hole in your trousers or you try a business and it fails. It is what it is. Like, if you can put that out of your head, they're not going to put any money in your pocket. They're not going to help your family. So ignore them. Forget about it. It's like nothing. It's smoke.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you. I consciously, it is part of my own personal vulnerability and practice. I consciously fully receive your acknowledgement there. Because for so many years, and I do that, I just bring a real essence to this. I don't want to bullshit myself or anybody ever on these podcasts, but like, it's part of that embarrassment, that sense of, that long held sense of inadequacy. But like, to receive an acknowledgement, I receive that fully. Thank you. Apart, what came to me there, actually, just when you just owning, that label, I was just like, I'm a builder, like all these other aspirational things, but it just came to me so fucking powerfully. It's such a beautiful metaphor for life. I mean, we're all builders. We're all builders. As you look at, like, what do you have to do to build, like, the building process? I mean, you just get a flat piece of ground. There's nothing on it. Like, at first, it must be, like, you have the foundations, you think it into being, you go to the architect with your ideas. Like, it's properly a beginning to end of that creative process that we must go through.
But just go one step further. You can never go up before you go down. You have to put the foundation in the ground before you go up. So if you don't put the work in to make yourself better, like, you're going to have to expose yourself. You're going to have to face the demons that you don't want to face, because they're always going to come back. But if you spend that little bit of time on the front end and you settle the death of the past, you can move forward. It's that simple, and sometimes people are going to accept it. Sometimes people won't. It is what it is. Once you can square that away, once you get that foundation right, you can go.
Kevin, in the last number of years, what were one or two of the most, let's say, problematic, resistant inner demons for you that you just came fucking face to face with? What were the most challenging ones for you?
Yeah, I guess I go back to that chip on my shoulder. I always felt I had to prove myself to people that have absolutely zero impact in my life. People that, would never give me a thought from one end of the day to the other. But for some reason, that small Kevin Donohoe, 11, 12, 13 years of age, growing up in Kildare town, just felt like I had to prove myself to people that are absolutely not important, that don't have any impact on my life. And I remember, like, when the company went bad in Dubai the first time, we didn't get paid again. And it was a guy that was living in Dubai, and we were a subcontractor to him. And a super long story short, he went in and he did a full and final settlement for half of the amount of money that he was owed. He signed a legally binding document, and then he bailed. He left Dubai, right? Dubai is not a place you want to own money. It's like you try to explain that to people that have never been there, they don't understand. Like it's just it's like being on the moon. The laws won't protect you. There's nobody there. It's like a civil case in Ireland is a criminal case in Dubai. And this guy bailed, and we rode like $1 million. I think it was like I can't remember. It was $1 million, or he settled for 600 and something thousand. So it was 1.2 million. So it was 50%, and he was gone. So we couldn't go to the company and ask for that money because he's after settling debt. And I remember my biggest fear was, what are people in Kildare Town going to say? Like it was, I'm dealing with this in the back of my head. Like instead of dealing with what I needed to deal with in front of, I was embarrassed. I felt shame. You know what I mean? It's like, how am I going to be able to face people? Nobody cares. It took me 15, 20 years to realize that. Like nobody cares. Like I'm going to live my life. Everybody else is going to live their life, and it is what it is. And you know, if I give somebody a snigger for the day, happy days. You know, that's my karma, that's their karma. You know, so dealing with the nobody cares, dealing with the don't be afraid. Like, you know, fear of failure, it's real. It definitely is real, and fear of failure holds people back more than failure ever will. Like, you know, what is it? Michael Jordan says, you won't make 100% of the shots you never take. You know, and like you can live your life one motivational quote at a time. The difference is most of these motivational quotes that actually came from people, they've done it. You know, they've tried it. There was a podcast that I listened to last week. It was Tariq El Moussa, and I think the guy's name was Ed Micel. He was a baseball player. He was telling a story like how he made all this money as a baseball player. He went into real estate, and the real estate company went bad. And he was living in Newport Beach, California, and they cut off his power. Like, okay, I've no money. And he's dealing with all this shame, and he's dealing with all this embarrassment and stuff like that. He didn't have any money. His wife is out bussing tables, you know. So they're trying to figure out how to get a bed. He gets up one morning to have a shower, and his water's turned off. And he's like, it was in that moment when he turned the faucet and there was no water coming out of the hose. He's like, and he spent the next week having a shower down by the pool or whatever like that. And he said, from that day forward, he's been grateful for water, you know. And it's like, this guy's not worth whatever $400 million, but he went to zero, he went to nothing, and he dealt with the exact same issues that everybody starting out deals with. You know, it's 95% of people didn't make it first time, and that's why I have this respect for people that have made it, because they've hit the hard things. How many people lost everything in the crash of 2008 Ireland? Builders that had been around for years and years and years, you know, like the second, third, fourth generation builders, they lost everything. And I sat in the pub and I heard all the conversations, and you know, people sniggered at them and sneered at them. Good for them, blah blah blah. Me, as far as I'm concerned, he tried. I don't have anything against him, you know. Like it is what it is. So I think if we worry about our own business, let everybody else do what they're going to do. I think we have a better life if we help people out. You know, that's the way I believe it. You know, I've seen it both sides of it. Like when I let all my staff go, I should have let them go in April. I didn't let them go in April. I paid them right through till November until we literally had no more money left in the company. We had no more, and all of my worst fears came true anyway. People turned on me. All the bad stories went out there. But I lost the company. They lost the job. If I'd have let them go in April, I still would have had a company and I still would have had money in the bank. But we didn't. And I think it was that old Irish Catholic guilt, like, you know, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? They're going to do exactly what they did in November or December. They're going to go and get a job somewhere else, you know. And at the time, I wasn't mature enough. I wasn't a good enough businessman. And when you're faced with that reality and you have no choice but to face it and make a decision on what way to go, then you can grow, you can move on, you can accept it, you can settle that debt, you can build that foundation, and you can rise again. You know?
Yeah, it's a powerful one. That one, I remember that being the first video that I saw of you in the private Graziosi group, where you were speaking about that. The necessity to be willing to make powerful business decisions for the business, and to be able to take your emotions, keep your emotions separate, albeit love, joy, appreciation, it's all part of it, but to be able to keep them in check, that they don't overshadow your capacity to keep on track for the business. Can you speak just a little bit further about that? Like what's
the majority of
what do you mean about difficult business decisions, or a little bit of the structure of that?
Yeah, you can't let emotion overpower your decisions, and I let that happen. You know, 70-80% of people, whatever it may be, are employees. So they're coming at it from an employee standpoint, you know. As an employer, if you don't have a business, you can't help anyone. You're out of business. You can't help your wife. You can't help your children. You can't help the other employees that you had. If I had followed the contract, which I would have told, if I was working for another client or for another company as an employee, we would have followed the contract to the letter of the law. I would have shut the job down. I would have sent all the subcontractors away. We would have either reassigned the staff, or we would have had to let them go, because that's just the way it is. That's the way business runs. I didn't do that. And I learned now that you have to put the business first. You can't let emotion take over those decisions. Like, the right decision to do is to follow your contract. Your contract says, like, okay, they didn't pay after 60 days, shut the job down, send the subcontractors away. Now you have a remobilization fee. And if you don't have another job to reassign that staff, you have to lay them off. That's just the way it is. And the best CEOs in the world have done it, you know. Elon Musk, it's Jack Welch, you know. You're going super, super high. I was so low. I was talking 40 people, and I couldn't do it. I wasn't able to do it. You know, our wage bill was $120,000 a month, you know, and it was just, how am I going to do that? And I didn't have the courage to let these people go, because I was too embarrassed, I was too ashamed, I was worried about what they were going to say about me, and I let it go too far, and it still all happened. So it was going to happen. It was inevitable, and I just prolonged the inevitable, and I made it worse for myself, and I made it worse for a couple of other people. Like, we had a couple of other jobs that we probably could have saved, you know. But I maintained all my relationships. All my subcontractors got paid. Like, barring the client that didn't pay us, that we're currently in litigation with, every other client that we work with would work with us again. And you know what I mean. So it's a realization that you have to be a better businessman. You have to make the tough decisions that other people aren't willing to make.
Kevin, what's different about the Kevin speaking here today? What have you realized in the internal workings of your mind, your mindset, heart set, how you turn up as a man, your character? What's the difference between the Kevin now and the Kevin that's sort of at the beginning, middle of that period of?
It's hindsight 2020. But if I had it over again, I would have followed the contract. I would have reassigned who I could have reassigned. I would have let everybody else go. But as long as you're not deliberately going out to intentionally hurt anybody, then you're not doing anything wrong. It is what it is. You have to deal with the circumstances that are presented, and sometimes that means you have to make tough decisions. And tough decisions affect other people's lives. It is what it is. And today, as a businessman, that's what I would do. I'd have no problem making those tough decisions, because the fact that I didn't make those tough decisions brought hardship on my family as well. You know, Diana didn't deserve that. You know, my kids, Daddy was coming home grumpy, upset, you know what I mean, pissed off, whatever it may be. You know, I wasn't always there, you know. And when you're upset, whether you believe it or not, your kids notice that, you know. So you're not happy. You're not going down to the beach. You're not taking them for a walk, like, and it's just like they notice that, and they don't deserve that. I'm working on leaving it at the door, you know. So if you have a bad day, try and leave it at the door. You know what I mean? I'm still failing a couple of times on that, but I believe if you can, like, they don't need to deal with our hardships. They're kids, like, you know, they're going to have plenty of them themselves when they grow up. You know, so it's like Kevin now versus Kevin then would make the tough decision.
And I suppose, like, what comes for me is, like, I was listening to Brené Brown recently, and she herself, through difficulties with drinking, and like she went through intense inner demons, you know, overcoming her own inner demons. But what she says coming out the far side is, like, she now knows who she is.
Yeah.
She knows what her values are. She knows what her belief system is. And who she is non-negotiable. She's like, she can negotiate on anything outside of that. She can negotiate on the schedule. She can negotiate on the book deal. She can negotiate on the TV deal. She can negotiate on the wages for the new employees coming in, whatever it is. She can negotiate on anything.
Yeah.
But who she is non-negotiable. And it sort of seems, like, I don't know, I draw a parallel of, like, you know, the Kevin now possibly is just Kevin is a non-negotiable, and your business as an extension of, you know, it's an outer representation of your values, you know, to service your values, to expanding, call it love and joy and service to your employees and etc., and the people that you get to serve, and the buildings that you get to create. But they're non-negotiables. And
this is why I highly recommend people reach out to you for their life coaching exercise, because you just have to come to the conclusion that that's right. Yeah, Kevin Donohoe, who he is, and he's non-negotiable, and who should come first, and you should prioritize the right people in your life, not the people that are going to be outside your life. So I appreciate that insight.
Well, it's so easy. Like, it's so easy to see when somebody is embodying it. I think sometimes what I just have, like my gift, what I have is just I can put the words on it. But like you're definitely embodying that, and you can feel anybody listening in, looking in, you can feel just the energy where a guy is coming from. The story when you're talking about back then, but actually just to Kevin now, there's a different energy that emanates from you. Kevin, one thing of Newark Kings is definitely business. The essence of it, being of service is so important. It's not you're out to serve. You're out to have like you have this definitely everything that you're saying, everything you've communicated to me before as well. It's just like you're out to have your family win, you win, the people you work with win, everybody wins. So it's like the rising tide brings everybody up. But I noticed there recently that that's not just the end of the vision for you. Like, you have your family vision, your personal vision, your business vision, financial vision. They're all sacred. But yourself and Diana have spoken. I don't know if you've taken active steps on philanthropic projects with the homeless. Would you mind just expanding a little bit on that? I'm curious to know where that might be going.
Yeah, I just a couple of years ago, like, I shared a video. I was listening to the stats that were on back in Ireland, and I used to listen to Radio 1 a lot. Don't listen to Irish radio as much as I used to, but like they were saying that the homeless children in Ireland had gone to 6,000. I believe it's 10,000 now, but it was 1,500, and it was 6,000 total at the time, and now it's up to 10,000. And we made a donation to Focus Ireland, and we made a donation to I can't remember the other one. There's another homeless shelter in Dublin, and it's just that's the one that bothered me. Like, if you can make money, Robert Kiyosaki believes 10% of everything you earn should go to tithing. You know what I mean? So you decide what the tithing is for. And if you work hard and you earn money, giving back I believe giving back is some of the best feelings in the world. It really is. Like, so we would like my chosen charity would be homeless charity, like, especially homeless children. And I believe at some point in the future, like, I'll be in a position to make a difference on that.
Beautiful. Kevin, I'm conscious of your time, and part of just like jumping in on the project and that, from a feeling point of view, from a friendship point of view, and just loving your presence and just everything that comes. I think we'll be on personal calls again in the near future. But like I have this full belief that with where you're going, with how you're expanding, and just living that sort of what I playfully call, well, quite sincerely call, that Newark King archetype out in the world. I've no doubt in the not too distant future, I'll be getting this massive impulse to just invite you back on and just like touch base and see where you're going. Kevin, just before leaving us, like, part of the king archetype, if you go into archetypal teachings, let's say, the king archetype is definitely, there's a core part of that vision, being the visionary, the capacity that we have, this vision, this ability to project forward a vision that's of massive value to ourselves and those around us. What if you were to go crazy now and go absolute unlimited? You can be, do, or have whatever you want. You go with the absolute essence on it. What's the 10-year vision for Kevin Donohoe going forward?
When you tell that story, people think you're crazy, right? It is what it is. But I don't have a glass ceiling. Like, I really don't have a glass ceiling. It's the developer owned hundreds, if not thousands, of apartments, owned a couple of exit ramp hotels, like owned a high-end garage so that you can drive whatever you want to, like, you know what I mean? Like, figure out a way to get somebody else to pay for the toys that you play with. So, like, I don't see a cap. And again, I've sat in company of people where they think I'm bananas, but it is what it is. Like, I think if you can picture it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand, and I truly believe that. And I see in 10 years' time, I'll have my development company, I'll have my building company, I'll have my rental company, and my kids will be happy. I hope my daughter's in Harvard. Like, yeah. And if
we're on the 10-year mark for Harvard.
There you go. If she changes her mind on me, then it is what it is. Like, as long as she's happy, like, yeah. And over the next 10 years, every single day, I'm going to tell the kids they can do whatever they want to do as long as they put in the hard work. You know, my favorite saying in the whole world is the harder I work, the luckier I get. You know, so if you're not afraid of hard work, you can have anything. Like, you know, and the last year when I was in the dumps, I was like, you know, but the truth is we achieved it. You know, for years I wanted this $100 million company. We did $100 million worth of work. We built it. It's fair. Everybody knows we can do it. I've built incredible contacts. I've got a lot of good friends out of it. Like I met a lot of people in the industry. So the 10-year plan is to keep doing what I'm doing, be happy, you know, try and focus more on family. I need to pull my head a little bit more out of business. I can focus a little bit more on the family because it's like they're the best in the world. They're the reason. That's why you get up in the morning. So, yeah.
Is there any part of that future, because and I think people will be tapping into this, you're a charismatic son of a gun. Like, if we go with ancient Chinese language, you're full of dough, man. You're full of dough. Is there any part of that future with a possible published book of, it's not meant to be easy, but it is meant to be fun? Are we ever going to see Kevin Donohoe on stage just like speaking from that heart essence?
I believe so. I'm getting more confident on my public speaking. Like, you know, I've started my hashtag, the Paddy Builder, and stuff like that. People are starting to listen to me. I've got a good few messages in house, so I'm going to share that. But I do think sharing your story with other people gives them the inspiration to go and do it again. You know, and I've had a good few people in the last 6 months reach out to me. A lot of them actually are on your page. Just for you know, shits and giggles. Hey, what did you do? Blah, blah, blah. Tell them the story. And when people see that you've been down and you can get back up, that inspires them to kick it on a little bit further. So I wouldn't rule anything out.
Going all out crazy, because I know, like, you touched on the helping the homeless and that. Where's the 10-year of that? You meet all beautiful, expansive business, financial goals. Where would you really like? What sort of level of service do you see in, like, a completely uncapped, no ceiling above that? Where would you love that?
I don't ever see myself running a charity or anything like that. That's not something that I'd have the desire to do, or, you know, but I do believe contributions to homeless charities and stuff like that, people that know what they're doing, and just raising the topic, let people know about it, like, encourage people that, and it doesn't have to be the homeless. That's just mine. But I believe giving back is far more fulfilling than receiving. So make that donation, and to be fair, like, there's benefits in it as well. You know, the government wants you to do that as well. So your donations, a lot of them are tax free and stuff like that. So it's just like understanding what you can do to help people. But volunteering, you know, going out and dishing up dinners for the homeless and stuff like that. I believe, like, you know, I'm telling you, if you give back, you'll see you feel good for helping other people that are less fortunate. Like, when we left Ireland that time, and I talked about it in that video. I believe I was lucky. When I say I was lucky, I could have got the wrong bounce. You know, I could have ended up homeless. What if I didn't get the job in Dubai? What if I didn't get the job in Canada? What if I didn't get the job in Florida? How many people back in Ireland right now are losing their homes? You know, and I'm not pointing the finger at anyone. I'm not saying anything about the government. I'm not saying anything about the vulture funds. I'm simply highlighting that there's a lot of people that are losing their houses. You know, so if we'd got the wrong bounce, I could have been one of those people. You know, so I believe that people that are down on their luck, they don't need people standing on their neck with their foot. You know what I mean? Put your hand out, and if you can help them up, and that might be something as simple as a €5 donation at Christmas. Like I say, I feel there shouldn't be homeless people in Ireland in this day and age. I truly believe that. You know, I don't believe that we can blame any one group of people. So there's enough resources. I just think we need to increase the will to help more people. And if we increase the will to help more people, I think we'll see those numbers fall. You know? And so over the next 10 years, I'd like to, you know, bring attention to that, and every chance I get to help somebody else out, that's what we do.
Beautiful. It's just so characteristic. I love the way you're just sort of leaving that there. It's like, it's so characteristic of almost every communication I've had with you via message, phone call, videos I've seen. It's just this equality that you put out there. It's rising everybody. Like, there's just this absolute belief, and that for me is the essence of New York Kings. You know, is to create this belief in this movement that 1 million plus, and there's no cap, it's 1 million plus, like wherever it goes after that. But like even one guy, two guys, three guys listening in, is that, you know, we have the capacity as human beings, as one guy, that through your vibrational efforts, through your miracle morning, through listening to Kevin Donohoe and like tapping into, you know, whatever key insights have jumped out for the guys today listening to you, the other guys' podcasts to come. But when you implement that and embody that, we can actually rise 2 people, 3 people, 10 people, 100, 1,000, 1,000,000 around us, and we can all rise together. As you say, without the need ever to blame, point of fingers, bullshit. It doesn't help, and never has, never will, in future. Kevin,
but I do believe in abundance. I believe in abundance. I don't believe that things are limited, like, you know, and I don't believe in the 1%, 99%. I think there's enough to go around. I believe society sends out the message that there's not enough to go around, and I think that's horseshit. Like, you know, there is enough to go around, and we can go out and do it. And if you know, like I say, it's not meant to be easy, but it is meant to be fun. And if you're willing to take that little bit of hardship, you'll create the life that you want for yourself. I believe that.
And I'm going to wrap it up now, but just thank you so much from myself personally. It's an absolute pleasure, just this continued interplay that we get to jump on and just have fun together, effectively storytelling, and just
we've been trying to do this for a while. I was meant to do it 2 weeks ago, and then the hurricane hit, so I appreciate it.
No, so I always say it's like the most important life-changing, world-changing conversations. There's always obstacles put in front of them. So that was the hurricane was just proof that this was going to be an epic one. Thank you so much for me personally for coming on. Thank you very much from the guys that are getting to listen into your story and your vulnerability, just sharing all heart and soul out there. Thank you, sir.
Listen, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, and I wish you the very best of luck with it. Keep growing those numbers. You know, you deserve it. You've definitely got a message that a lot of guys want to hear and need to hear. You know.
Cheers. Thanks, Kevin. Guys, wrapping up today's episode with Kevin. I mean, if you've listened beginning to end today, you've got just like the most life transformative energy, insights. Undoubtedly, there's so many different nuggets in there that's going to be jumping out for you. I mean, what jumps out for myself humbly is just like, I think just what comes to the top is we're all builders. You know, Kevin is a builder. He's constructing this incredible, sensational, beautiful life. And as he says, there's no limits. Just the key message, there's only the only limits are the limits in the mind. And like, he's living proof and progressively expanding that, you know, when you actually feed the mind the right thoughts, when you set yourself up, when you get up and you do your miracle morning, or you do your version, and you get your mind and heart set going and working for you, you can create whatever life you want. And that's the essence of New York Kings, is just really unapologetically saying, you know, fuck the world that is sort of shouting at the critics in the corner. Kevin has said that. It's like, that's the one major thing that can has limited him, has limited myself, Mark, but us all collectively together. Fuck the naysayers. Go beyond them. Believe in yourself. Be unapologetically yourself. Your personal revolution, your business revolution, your mission, if it's local, if it's global, it is possible. Kevin believes in you. I believe in you. The universe is behind you. Go fucking do it. Guys, have a beautiful day. We'll chat to you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.